Good day everyone and welcome to my tutorial. So today we are going to be doing an artwork. First off, let's go straight to the point. We want to create a canvas, and if you're using Procreate, you see here my canvas size is 3000 by 4000 pixels, which I recommend. If you're using 4000 by 4000, the layers are going to be reduced. So if you're using 3000 by 4000 with a DPI of 300, you're going to get at least, let's say, 25 layers. So click on this. Okay, when you open this blank canvas, want to add a picture, we'll come here and click insert photo. So now we're going to choose, let's scan through which photo we're going to be selecting today. For me, let's keep scrolling till we get a picture. Depends on you. Okay, here I have Lori Harvey, I have Megan. So let's say we're picking Lori Harvey. We fit to screen. Okay, Lori Harvey. Okay, choose the color black. First thing you want to do is reduce the opacity to something you feel you can see through, depending on you. Now we create another new layer, clicking this plus sign. Now for the outline, I want to pick a brush. Let's pick a brush. I'm going to come down to inking. I pick studio pen and brush size of 10. Let's see how this goes. Okay, that's okay. Let's reduce brush size a little to 7. Okay, let's see 6 or 5. I think this is okay. Okay. So now the first step in drawing, now you want to start with the outline. The outline is the first step. It's like the foundation for any digital artist. So what you want to start with now is the outline. And with your brush, your studio pen brush, under inking, we start by coming here. Then like this. Like this. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Okay, we're not yet done. Now for the sake of this tutorial, instead of going down, drawing the neck and giving it shoulders and stuff, I'm going to be showing you how to give it just how to start with just the head hats. This is just like the basic. I don't want to go down to body, clothing and stuff. Let's start the basic. This is just the head shot, the head art. So now we're going to, for this hair, okay, let's see. Now for the eyes. Now you have to reduce your pen, your brush size a little. And play with your opacity. Okay, come here for the nose. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is to change our brush. I want to change our brush because right now, the next step is to focus on the eyebrow, the lashes. And you can't use, I don't recommend you using this brush. I do not recommend you using this same brush. You have to change your brush because we need something a little bit shiny. Now for this brush, we're going to be using the Comic Inker pen, which is one of my main brushes. Okay, so give it a little bit of sketch here. Let's take this to 5, take the settings up a little bit. We're not yet done, we use it a little. Okay, you can see the difference, and this was the reason I said you have to change your brush. So this is the main difference. If you can see how tiny it's looking, the lines are looking more tiny, and you can see the sharp edges over here. Sharp edges. So let's go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. Now time for the lips. Let's reduce this a little bit. just want to clean this up a little because I don't want the lip to be too obvious with marks. But depends on you, okay? Because I love working on details, but depends on you. When I mean I love working on details, means I love drawing every single thing I see. But if it's on you, you can skip some little bit of this to save your time. But I recommend you draw everything you see. Now let's play with our brush side a little. Reduce the opacity. Come down to the lip. Say 6, okay. Let's see how this lip is going. Now come over to the next side. Let's see. Now we'll move over to the upper portion of the lip, which is there. Now most artists, remember this tutorial is based on my own experience, but most artists, they prefer drawing over the lip like this. That's most artists, but especially vector artists. But for the sake of this tutorial, that is just for me. I do not recommend that. That's just for me. I really don't recommend that because at the end of the day, the outcome, except maybe you are working on vector art, which is understandable, but I don't do that. Okay. Now we have to increase our opacity of our brush settings. Going to the teeth. Let's see the outcome of this first. Let's see. Now for the eyes, reduce the opacity a little bit, just to give it a little mark there. And that's just that. The next step now, I think the next step, we're moving to the eyebrow. So please watch carefully. For me, I prefer you create another layer for the eyebrow. We're going to merge it down later on, but for now, create another layer first. And create another layer. Just leave our brush size, place your brush size a little bit. Opacity at 80 something. You have to be patient and wait for the outcome. Just keep swiping through. And remember, this is the pen we're still using, this comic inker pen. Now, for those who don't use Procreate, or you're using Autodesk Sketchbook, or maybe you use ibispaintx, for ibispaint users, it's also the same thing. There is no difference. You just have to use deep pen hard or deep pen soft and reduce the opacity to, I think, 4 points or thereabouts for ibispaint users. Then for Autodesk, which I'm not that familiar with, I think the pen you use for something like this is the technical pen. I think technical pen, something around that name or so. But I don't know feel to give it the feel like this compared to that of Procreate. So let's see what we have here. Now we're done with one side of the eyebrow. Let's move to the other side. Okay. Let's see the outcome of this. Okay, now we're done with the other parts. Move to this other section, add some like this. Okay, that's that for the eyebrow. Now remember, this is on a new layer, and the reason why I say I should create on a new layer is because of this. We're about to clean the outline. It's just easy. It's not going to affect the other layer. It's as simple as that. So later on, you can just merge down. That's it. Now the next step for us is to move over to either the hair or the lashes, but for now, create another layer. I'm going to start with the lashes. Let's reduce opacity. Remember, we're still using the comic inker pen, and we've used like since the beginning of the tutorial, I used like a total of 2 brushes, so it's not that complex for the outline. Now we are on a new layer already. Let's play with the brush size a little. Okay, like this. Let's see the outcome for this. Okay, begins to see the beauty already. This is the first part of the lashes. Please do not forget, this is the pen we're using, the Comic Inker pen. Now most of you, your Procreate might not come with this pen. Your Procreate might not come with this pen, and if you're using autodesk, use the technical to the technical brush. I think something around that. I really can't say, but that's of the Ibis paint. I suggest you use the deep pen, or the deep pen hard, or the deep pen soft. Which of them is going to give you something closer to this? Now I want to move the layer one. Okay, still on a new layer. Okay, let's see the outcome of this one also. And that's that. Remember, on a new layer, and I do not recommend you drawing on the same layer for outline, because at the end of the day, you want to clean out some lines such as this. Let's reduce the opacity. As you can see, let's say you're cleaning out this. It's not going to affect the layer at the bottom. So that's the reason I suggest you create another layer. Clean out this also. Take our opacity back to 100. And we have this. Now we have the bottom section that we have to draw. Take our opacity to 100. Play with the brush. You can merge this down if you want to, but for me, let me just create another layer for now. this way. And to move to the next one. Let's see how it is. Okay, this is just for the bottom lash. Okay, now the next step, okay, let's merge this down first. You can merge down if you want to. Okay, let's just merge it down. Now what we're going to draw next is the hair. Now when it comes to the hair, you have to take notes to details, pay attention to details like the strands such as this. You have to pay attention to details. Remember, on a new layer already, this layer, let's increase our opacity a little bit. Okay, let's imagine if our hair was, trying to imagine if we added this part of our hair, how it's going to be. Let's see. Okay, I think it's going to be fine like this. Okay. Now, first things first. Now you have to change your brush to script. Do not worry about opacity when using this brush because the opacity still remains the same. You can see, even though I take down the opacity down to 1, it still remains the same. Now, one thing about this brush is this is what you use for applying the base colors. You apply the base colors with this brush. My battery is going down. You apply the base colors with this brush, like the base where you apply the shading and everything, the foundation for the color. This is what you use this brush for. So let's say we have this. Okay, let's say from here. To fill this place with color, we're going to drag and drop. Okay, we're not yet done. Still on the hair. Okay, let's see. Take it from this part. Now take note, when this is just basic principle, when you're applying base colors, make sure you draw around the enclosed area. Make sure there is no space, because when you drag and drop, it's going to fill everywhere. But now look at this. If I close this layer like this, if I close this layer now and I drag and drop, you see there's no way for the air to escape. So that's just basic principles of those of you new to digital drawing. Now what the next step should be, applying those tiny strands of hair that gives it its beauty. We come here and choose the comic inker. Choose the comic inker brush again. Let's create another new layer for in case of mistakes. Increase the opacity a little bit so you see what I'm doing. Brush size to 9, okay. You have to be patient while doing any art regarding a female's hair or a guy's beard, for instance. In digital drawing, you have to be patient for that. Let's see how far we're going. You can see around the details already. You have to continue like that till you're almost done. Wow. Okay. Okay. Getting tired already, but you just have to continue. Okay. Okay. Now, if you notice, we're done with one section of the hair, which is the first part of the hair strands, but it's not yet blending. If you take a good look, you'll see this traits section. So for us to blend it, there are two ways: either use eraser tool or use a smudge tool. So for a smudge tool, we come here and pick, let's say, short hair. Now, what does short hair do? Let's see what it does. No, we'll come over to the other layer where we have this basic line, and if you use the short hair smudge tool, this is what you're going to get. Hope you can see. Now we have to blend it all the way. Still on the second layer, continue the process. Continue the process. Now the second process, also the second method, is for you to use your brush tool and choose short hair also. That's also another way. And this is how short hair looks like, if you can see. See, this is short hair. So what we want to do now is to add more strands. Come here, just a little bit, just nothing much. And there you have it for the first step. Now I want to create another layer for the other side of the strands. Now sorry that I'm creating much layers, I'm just doing it for safe reasons, in case you want to erase something and stuff, so it doesn't click or doesn't affect the other layer. Now we're going to go back to our inker pane. We use our pen size. Now this is what we're creating a layer for. We want to draw out this strand, this hair strands. So start from here. That's that for the hair. Wow. Okay. I'm thinking about adding the neck, but I don't really know. Let's see. Okay, first off, to reduce our layers, let's not get confused. Group, flatten. Now, if you can see closely, this is the hair layer. Thinking about adding the neck, but I don't really know how it's going to look. Or I might just leave it like this. Okay, let's keep it short that way. Now the next thing, you for safety reasons, if you are new to digital painting, you can leave this as your hair layer separate. But if you want to just save time, save your layers and stuff, like reduce the number of layers, not to confuse yourself, you can merge it down. Or at the same time, you come here and you rename your layer to hair. But I'm not going to do that right now, but it's just for you. That's just what you want to do. You can merge it down, or you leave it that way. Now, what next? I'm going to move to the nose. Now, when we increase our opacity, you can see that this nose area is dark already. And since it's dark already, just choose something a little bit dark. Create another layer. And we're going to make it black. Okay, so there you have it. Now also you can see that the mouth part, the lip section where the mouth is also a little bit dark. So color drop, pick which is best. Let's save this and let's apply that. Let's apply something lighter. Okay. Now for Our earrings, you can see, is silver color. Instead of color dropping, you can just come over here and pick silver color. Just give this silver. Remember, the brush we're using right now is the discrete brush. Like I said, the discrete brush for applying straight colors without any opacity whatsoever. It's not going to affect it, even though you reduce it to 1 whatsoever. It's not going to affect. That's just how this brush, that's the beauty of this brush. Now these are silver color. These are the basic. We're not just going to add color, add shades, I mean. Now for the eyes, if you look closely, you are seeing this in our pupils. Our eye color is brown, and then we have this black at the center. So for the eyes, let's draw the eyes and see. Let's see what we have here. Not really liking that shape, so come on to the next one. Don't get confused. This is just a transform tool. By pressing your S at the top left, just reduce maybe something you feel is not that right. Just reduce it a little and arrange. That's just all. It's just nothing complex. So don't get confused about that part. Now what we want to do is apply this black color here. Come over and apply the black color. Now where we have our brown, like I said, I think our eyes are brown from what I can see. Pick a brown color. Now this layer 4 right here is supposed to be beneath all outlines. Like your color layer is meant to be below, while the outlines are meant to be at the top. That's how, for those of you that are new to this is how it works. All color layers, all shadings and stuff are meant to be below, your reference picture below, then the outline, any form of outline is meant to be at the top. Okay, let's give this is color. This layer right here, let's just merge it down. Okay, what next? What next? I think the next step now is the teeth. We have to create another layer for the teeth. Come here, create another layer. Now remember, for those of you new to drawing, you can't color the teeth. Okay, let's just say for example our teeth is red and we're on the same layer as that of the tongue section and nose, right? So now just imagine you want to color our teeth right now. For those of you that are new, you can't just go about coloring our teeth like this, because at the end of the day it's going to join and clash with the lip. It's going to clash, with the tongue area. That's this dark part. It's going to clash. You can see it's already covering it. So what we're going to do is create another layer, right? Create another layer which is going to be below a tongue section and stuff. Let's put off the background color since the teeth is going to be white. Then it's like this. Now you can see it's not clashing with anything. So for those of you new to digital drawing, you just have to know which layer is meant to be at the top, which layer is meant to be at the bottom. But you must understand that every color layer must be below and all outline must be at the top. Okay, we're done with the teeth. So right now, check my battery level is 45. Right now I want to color eyes also. Okay, let's put all the background layer. Clean this section. Okay, so now it's time to apply color to the skin. The base color. Also note we've not started adding shade to the earrings or her teeth or the eyes and the pupil and stuff. I'm going to leave that for now. Let's apply color to our skin. Okay, so let's choose a color. Now for those of you that are new to digital drawing, when it comes to applying color to skin, most of you get confused or some of you ask for, maybe some of you ask your various artists for color palettes, or you ask them for reference. Some of you already are used to picking color codes from the skin already. Some don't know how to go about it and they ask for the reference. So there is also another method, which is what I mentioned already, which is picking, that is asking for reference by picking the color codes from the skin. It's just easy to understand, but there are some artists out there that already have color codes already, like color palettes for all types of skins. But at the end of the day, to make the art look like a little bit closer to the reference to what you drew, I prefer picking the color from that picture itself. Because at the end of the day, if you are using another color code or color palette given to you by another artist, when you draw a picture like this picture now that I have right here, the color code from that artist might not match the color code that you are seeing here. So the outcome might be kind of odd or something. So I prefer, as an artist, I prefer that you pick color code from that skin. The picture you are going to work on, pick the color codes from that skin. Create your own color palette. And do not get confused. I'm going to show you something very easy. What you are going to do here is just to pick her main color. Forget about the lighter parts, forget about the darker parts, and so on and so stuff. What you're going to do here is just to pick, you're going to look at this picture and decide which is her main color, like her actual skin tone. What is her main actual skin tone? Now I'll come over here, click on this little box to the right hand side, in between both slides. Created another new layer, right? Okay. Let's decide now and think of a skin tone. I'm going to start playing around. So if you take notes, this part of her skin is dark. This part is dark. This can't be her main skin tone. This part is dark also. This part is also dark. These areas can't be her main skin tone. Same also with these parts. Same also with this part. It can't be her main skin tone. Okay. So same also, this area right here cannot be a main skin tone because this part is light. This is the light part. This right here is the light part. The light part. The light part. These areas on red can be her main skin tone because it's the light part. The light reflection there is obvious. This in general can't be a main skin tone. This part of the hair can't be a main skin tone because it's light. So what can be a main skin tone should be something between the dark parts of her skin and the light parts of her skin, which in that case should be this. You can see that here is dark, right? Here is light. Watch the color changes in the circle. Here is dark. Here is kind of light. But here has this warm feel. Okay. It has this warm feel. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this. Now let's clear this layer. And let's see if I'm right or I'm wrong. Make sure you close every section so there's no space for the color to escape when we drop this. Okay. Now for the the dark shades and light shades. From what I have, where is it? Okay. I'm going to drop this here. I'm going to drop this here. Drop this here. Now this skin tones I dropped here is what I use mainly for all skins. So instead of you just asking for color palettes or what's the color code whatsoever, you can use this what I circled in here now. You can use this dark one and this dark too. When I start shading, I'm going to understand what I'm saying. And this is the light parts, light shades. For all skins, you can use this. But for the base color, you can't use this because you have to choose from the skin and find what's the base color of what you are drawing. The person you are drawing, you have to find his base color like what I showed you. Then when you get the base color and you've applied it on the layer, then you can use my color codes, which is what I circled in red, and apply color. It's going to give you the actual drawing, so you don't have to think maybe there's another color code or color palette somewhere else or whatsoever. What you just have to do by yourself is find the base skin, the base color of the skin, sorry. When you get that and you've applied it and you think it's suitable to your eyes, it's like closer to what you are drawing, then you come here and use this. So that's that. Okay. We have to color the lips also. We have to create another layer for the lips. Now, what's the color of the lips? So that's that for the leaves, and everything we've done now is just the base. We've not shaded anything. This is just the base. We're yet to shade the eyes. We're yet to shade the lips, her teeth, and the earring. So you can start as well with any layer you want. You can start with the eyes whatsoever. You can start shading from there, but for me, I feel we should start shading with the skin layer and see if I'm right on the skin tone. I'm just kind of anxious to see the outcome of the skin tone, that's all. So I'm going to start with skin. Now, it depends. What you create another layer for the shade, and this is the dark shade. This is dark shade 1, because I use 2 shades. I don't use blend mode. I don't use multiply. I've stopped using multiply. It's only rare occasions, like very rare occasions, I use multiply. So for this skin, I'm not using any blend modes. Don't confuse yourself if you are new to digital drawing. This is dark shade. This is the first dark shade. I'm going to pick this one right here. We're not picking this one beneath. No, we're picking this one on the top. Now, when you want to apply color, let me show you something. For our shading, we're going to choose syrup 1 brush, which is in inking section. That's a syrup 1 brush. Reduce the opacity to about, let's say, 12%. Now, when you are, most artists though, if they start shading, you can see that it's already coming outside the colored zone. So to avoid this, to reduce stress of you switching back to eraser tool, I suggest you come over here, click here. Now on the color section, that's the base skin color, click on it and click on select. If you can watch closely on this canvas, you can see tiny lines, and look at my cursor. No matter how I draw on this layer, it's not going to show, it's not going to reflect. So just watch. You can see it's not coming out. No matter how I try, watch my cursor closely. So this is the main use of the select tool. Okay, now reduce your opacity to around 12, 13, 14. Depending on you, reduce it. Okay, let's start and see what we have. Follow the process of my shading. I'm trying to bring out these tiny lines. I'm really tired of talking already, but just for the sake of those who are new. first thing you do is to trace, to shade along those tiny lines. For those who are new, the first thing you do then change our brush size back again. The eyebrow section, now I normally use airbrush. That was like the first time I started drawing. I normally use airbrush. I know some of you that are already used to my method of drawing will be surprised I'm using this syrup, but by the end of this tutorial you're going to understand why I don't use airbrush. Create a brush size. Remember, we're still on the silver brush. I just want to reduce how I talk so you can follow through what I'm doing. Come here. Okay. For those of you that are new, what I'm trying to do is I was trying to follow the dark parts. Remember, it's in dark shade, so any part of the picture, the reference picture, the picture you are going to draw, anywhere you see any dark parts, you have to shade alongside that area. So that's what I was trying to do. Okay, let's see. Wow, battery is going down. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay. Now we've done the first shading, but we're not yet done actually. We've done the first shading, and what is left is to make it smooth, like make all the hard edges of the shade we just applied to be smooth. And the only way we can do that is to apply the smudge tool. But before we do that, let's add details to the eye. We'll create a clipping mask so it doesn't go out. And just add details to this eye. Ugh, no. I'm still using the syrup brush. Or syrup or syrup, whatever. Done with that is to apply this little shade to the eye. This red touch, like this. And when you've done that, I think that's for the eye. I think the next thing is her teeth, which in this case might be a little bit complex because I don't want to touch it too much. Let's see what we have though. Let's apply this smudge to soft airbrush and make this thing smooth. So if I look this layer also, note I'm on her lip, like the lip part is kind of dark, so that's where I am right now. After I lock that layer, alpha lock, click on it, choose alpha lock so the shade doesn't go outside. Let's see if I'm doing the right thing. For the earring, this is where I'm going to show you where I use blend mode. Blend mode, click on multiply, clipping max, choose this layer, color, take it down a little bit, and okay. Then create another layer, clipping max, make this one add, give it that light look, that silver look. Now make it smooth by applying a smudge tool. Now if you look closely, it's having this kind of silver look. That's if you look closely. Now the next thing left for us is the eye and lips. And before we touch that, I want us to finish with the shading that we're actually working on. Go back, click on select, go back to the shading, and let's click. Now we're going to choose the smudge tool. For the smudge tool, you're going to use your soft brush. Now if you look close, this is my brushes, the category where you see various brushes, but for that is where like these are for brushes I created and some that I bought, and if you're going to get this soft airbrush, I think it should be in airbrushing. Yeah, soft airbrush. But for me, I think I did some touching, like some settings and stuff for this particular soft airbrush. And this is going to, remember, this is going to be our smudge brush. So let's smudge and see what we have. You can leave your opacity between 20 to 25. It shouldn't be too much. Okay, I think we're done with the first shading process. Now, for most people, you can choose to. This is just the first shading process. Most people choose blend modes like multiply. When you choose blend mode like multiply, it darkens a little. I took it back. Blend mode, just took it back. But for me, this drawing, I don't think I'll be using that because it's dark already. Now, also, some artists, like everyone has their own step or way of doing things. They stop at this stage, like after using one shading color, they stop there and they go to the lightning process. But for me, I like adding another one. So for our dark shade, we're going to choose this one beneath. Remember, the first one was this one, but for the other dark one, we're choosing this one. Okay, let's see what we have. We'll take our opacity to at least 14. Remember, we're on the darker shade part, so do not forget or get things mixed up. Sit down. Okay, now this is the other dark shade. Battery's going down. This other dark shade, the other layer. This is at the top, not at the bottom, at the top. So please take notes. If you are lost, you can just take the video back a little. You know where I started from. This is the dark shade. And remember, I will have two color codes here, one for the lights, one for the dark. Now what's left for us to do is to blend, like when I mean blends, to use a smudge tool, airbrush, and make it smooth. Okay, now that we're done with that, what's left now? If you look closely, what's left now is the lips. Wow, the lips. Okay. Let's group the shading layer somewhere else. Okay, for this lip, we'll pick the base color of the lip. Let's go down a little bit for the color code. Let's start shading. Now these tiny marks, the lips are just obvious. I have to take it off. Now for the lips, I'm using multiply tool because I think it's kind of cool. I want to create another layer for the light part of the lip. Still on the lip. Don't get confused. Okay. Going to group this layer, and remember you can rename your layer whatsoever if you want to. For the sake of those that are new, I'm going to rename this as lips, new group lips. Let's see if we can make this shiny. Let's just leave it that way. The battery is going down. We're almost done. So what's left is to apply the light shade. Light shade 1. I'm going to pick this. Remember, we're still using syrup or syrup or whatever. Let's use opacity as low as 16. Let's see. Or should we try this? Let me see. Okay. Let's use this color code. Now this first light shade is beneath all the dark shades. So it's as simple as that, as drawing over where you see lights. Just draw over it. Anyway, you see lights, just draw over it. It's as simple as that. Okay, let's see how this looks. We're having something like this already. Now when you're done with that, know that your art is already rounding up. As usual, you have to blend it to your smudge tool. Make sure your smudge tool is airbrush. We are almost done. Trying to be fast because of my battery. Now, so if for those using Procreate, the brushes, most of the brushes I use in this tutorial, I don't think you have them, or if you do, okay, fine. But if you don't, have these brushes, I might be sharing some with you. That's on my Gumroad account. What do I do next? Okay, next is to apply the other light skin color code. Now this other light shade will be at the top of every other shade. As usual, draw away there is light. Okay, time to blend. So most artists use airbrush, but I started with airbrush, but I think I'm beginning to change. I don't know why. I just feel this is easier for me. Oh damn, my battery is low. Wow. Okay, since we're done, I think it's time to close, like clean up this shade. What next? What next? What next? Should be the eyes. To pick white. What next is so what I'm about doing, I'm about adding some details to the hair, which is, I'll just come here. Let me just make this fast. Brush I'm using right now is a short hair brush. I think now we're done with the hair, and this is what you're going to get as outcome. My battery is getting low, but I think I'm done. So the last part, if you're a girl watching this, just to spicing this art, like, okay, let me show you what I mean. Now we have silver earring, right? We want to add luminance, like a flare, to make it stand out. Okay, that's what we're going to get. Now if you're a girl and you're watching this, you might want this girly look. Let's choose screen. Okay, this is what I mean. You might want this glitter on the skin, something like this or like this, anywhere on the skin. Or you might want some, okay, what brush should I use? Let's see. Okay, you might want some stamps on the skin like stars. See what I'm saying? When I want some look like this, or like this, just depending on you, what you want. I don't think I'll be using any of that. Okay. Okay, if you look closely, we're applying the star, then let me apply a little bit of luminance. This cat fine glitter. The battery is low already. Some of you might have it, some of you might not. All the same, I'll be dropping a link to download. If you want that girly look, you can go for this. I don't want to apply much. So this is art for Lori Harvey. And we are done. So the last and final decisive part. Let me see what I have first. The last and final decisive part is this. Watch the screen. You're going to save this as transparent PNG. That is by putting off the background. You save your image. Go to your gallery. Want to create another canvas, 4000 pixel by 4000. You want a higher resolution. Now I'm going to insert the photo here. This is what we have, guys. This is what we have. Then I want to apply background. Let's say, okay. Not feeling that background. Let's choose this instead and see. Okay, let's choose this and then create another layer. Gaussian blur. Please watch your screen and understand what I'm doing. Now the final part I was talking of earlier was, you can be satisfied with this already. You can be satisfied with this drawing already. There's no bad part about it. It's okay. But you can also come here and apply contrast by going to curves. Take this down a little. Take this up a little. Now in Procreate, this is how you apply contrast. If you want to apply saturation, it's fine by you. You can just add like 1%. 1% is okay for me. Then what do you do next? You want it to shine out a little, you just duplicate this layer, add, then make this 6%. Now see, the color and everything is vibrant. You can merge this down. Let's see. If you're not satisfied with this color, you can come over here in hue and change it to whichever way suits you. I get confused when applying backgrounds because I really don't know which to choose. So that's it guys for today. My battery is already down. There's nothing else. We are done. From there you can apply, you can add a text, which is your watermark whatsoever, depending on. So guys, we're done. This is art for Lori Harvey. Okay, how do I cancel the recording?